So I wanted to ask you guys specifically, I'm really interested in this. I don't think we talked about this before when we did your pod, but I'll let you go first, Ben. Like your vision, like how did you foresee the fact that like this could be a thing? Like Gymshark being so successful. And
so it's sort of a bit backwards because I didn't really feel like that. Like when Gymshark first started, it wasn't a case of, I don't know, again, I'm not sure what you guys think. I didn't think I want to create, you know, a $1 billion brand, for example.
Right.
So growing up as a kid, I grew up in the centre of the UK in a place called the West Midlands, right? It's a very working class town. And the first jobs that I ever did were like manual labour jobs. So lining furnaces with brick, fibre, things like that. And that was like my first introduction to business, was literally just through doing manual labour jobs in my grandfather's business. And he would actually tell me that when he was a one-man band, right? So he would tell me that he had a job and he had to build a furnace and send his furnace to Germany. And he risked everything he had on that one job. So as a young kid at like 14 years old, hearing those stories and then me doing my thing, I never felt like that was really a big risk. And I basically just fell in love with fitness. I'm sure similar to you guys, fell in love with fitness and just wanted to then make a website, and then wanted to make a website that would transact, and then make a website that would transact regularly, and then swap from doing supplements into clothing and things like that. So there was never like this massive sort of vision until later on in the business. At the time, it was just very small goals with relatively small risks compared to those that I guess people previously had taken.
I understand what you're saying, because I didn't think, if I'm just talking about from the content creation side or even the selling of apparel side, I never did it being like, oh, I'm going to make tons of money and like this is what I'm going to do, because it wasn't even really a possibility. Just from the content creation side, I was just like, I'm doing things that I really love, and I'm talking about the things that are part of my life, my real life. And then it became this thing over time where I was like, oh shit, people are supporting me because of the things that I'm saying, or the stories that I'm telling, or the content that I'm creating and helping people with. And then they want to support, because it's like I said earlier, it's a brand new concept. Like this whole social media and people making money in social media is completely new. Yeah,
I mean, I remember when Gymshark first started, some of the first people we worked with were Chris Lovato and Matt Ogus. And I'm pretty sure Matt had the most followers, I think.
Matt was the OG. Matt was the OG. He was the first vlogger in the fitness scene,
especially in natural bodybuilding, wasn't he?
Yeah. And what was the thing? Legend? What was their thing?
Legend Aesthetics.
LOA.
Yeah. But Matt had about 20,000 subs on YouTube, and he was like the biggest and the best. So it was like a really small niche, a very, very small place. To say that like the biggest person back then, the most iconic person, had about 20k followers is just crazy, right? Because nowadays 20k followers on YouTube is
it's like nothing.
Like exactly.
It's honestly really nuts to me, man. I had a question. I was always curious about this, because before Gymshark, I think the only other company that really leveraged social media, I think it was the first company in the fitness space to leverage social media. And you know, I didn't have the biggest affinity towards this brand, but it was called Shreds.
Shreds, I remember Shreds. Yeah.
Did you get?
They were clothes?
What's that?
The clothes?
No, they did supplements.
Oh yeah. That was before That was after Gymshark. No?
Was it?
I remember seeing Shreds when we were
already at Expos.
In Ohio. I think we was in the Arnold in Ohio, and I remember seeing Shreds there. I don't know, but that's the first time I saw them.
It was about same time. I think they were a little after. That was like the Paige Hathaway and like that sort of. That was like, I feel like 2015.
Paige, Joey Swole. There was a few. Yeah.
So I was just curious.
They were first, I think. Gymshark was first. I really think it was first.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, did you see anything that was happening on social where you were like, I can leverage this?
No, we just fell into it. So we were fans. So we were massive just fans of social media. And like back in the early days, it was like Scooby, Scott Herman, Ziz, people like that. Obviously, massive fan of yourself. I think my brother was a big fan of you, and he said, sent me your videos and stuff. So like it was literally a case of, there wasn't like this strategic thing. I feel like it's so easy now to sit here and say, because we're here, everything was this strategic plan. Like, of course. I'd love to sit here and say, from 2012 we had this massive vision and we had this plan and we saw social and stuff, but it was just a case of, we spent time on social media, so it just made sense to, you know, chat to and talk to people on social media. And I think like I was just massive fans of all the people that we worked with in the early days, and I think that's why it was so fun and it was so cool. And it was, you know, it was that really sort of tight-knit group. So yeah, it wasn't like this strategic plan or anything.
Yeah.